Hello guys and welcome to Grobman FC. Today we start the What Team series which all of you can take part in. Me and my close friend will make a Barclays Premier League team of the season and explain why we chose the players. Then you guys choose what your favourite team is and like it. The video with the most likes wins. So first we have my good friend Tom Corley with me today sharing his Premier League team of the season. So hi Tom.
Hi, Gavin. Yeah, hi guys. I'm Tom. I'm from London. I support Arsenal, and my favourite player is Marco Royce.
Okay Tom, so let's jump straight into it. Tom has told me he is using the 4-3-3 formation with one holding midfielder and two central midfielders. Okay Tom, so can we have your goalkeeper and four defenders please?
Yeah, I chose Begovic because I think he's had a really good season for Stoke. Uh, he's been probably one of the main reasons they've stayed in a pretty alright position this season. Uh, I've chosen my two centre backs, Koscielny and Fonte, because I think they're two really great defensively. Both of them have a really good presence on the pitch, and I think they could be pretty good in any team, to be honest. I've chosen Bellerin and Klein on my two left back and right back positions because I think they're both really good attackably. You know, they're really fast. They're great wing backs, and they can really offer something different to the attack.
Okay, Tom, sounds like a strong defence. Let's move on to your midfield.
Yeah, for my CDM spot, I chose Coquelin because I think this year with Arsenal, I think he's been a really important force in the midfield. When he's been playing, I think there's a bit of the team where we really needed him. You know, that strong defensive like aspect in the midfield. And I'm really happy that he's come into his own this season. For the next position, which is going to be centre mid, would be Matic. I think Matic probably this season has been one of the shining lights in Chelsea's kind of successful nature this season. He's been really strong in both passing, attacking, and also being obviously defending, where he's just been probably the biggest rock for Chelsea this season. More kind of attacking, more midfield spot. I put Cafforla because I think he's been really great this season for Arsenal, and I think he's been probably one of our best midfielders just from how he's playing at the moment. You know, he's been getting goals, he's been getting assists, he's been really crucial to how we've been playing.
Okay, nice, Tom. And now let's move on to your three attackers.
Yeah, I've chosen three attackers. On the left, I've put Hazard. I think he's been great this season. You know, he's been still been a really great attacking aspect to Chelsea. Always cutting in. He can provide crosses. He can do quite a lot in the attack for Chelsea, and he's a big provider for them. And he's been. I think he's probably one of the hardest players to tackle in England at the moment. To be honest, I think he's had one of the biggest kind of foul ratios in the Premier League. So that shows you how great he is. On the right, I've got Sanchez. I think this season for Arsenal, I think he's been one of our best signings. From our little amount of our signings, despite that, I think buying this man has been really brilliant because he's been so good. I think he's been adding another extra part to our team. You know, we've already had pace and we've already had that kind of aspect to our team. But having Sanchez, I think, has still provided something that a lot of teams still don't really have. You know, he still can play down the middle, on the left, on the right. You know, he can still play in many attacking positions, which I think is quite good for our team. Up front, I put Giroud. I think this was quite a hard position for you to select, this kind of striker position, because there were quite a lot of options. But I think I put Giroud there because I really like how he holds up the play for Arsenal. He's one of those players that I think if you have him in your team, because he's so good with this kind of passing, he can dribble as well. You know, he's strong. I think he's probably a driving light that he can be kind of that target man, and he can also be a bit of a number 10 if you want him to be. You know, he's kind of that player. But yeah,
Okay, Tom, very nice. And finally, your manager.
yeah. I've picked Arsene Wenger, and I think this may be a bit of a controversial one considering how he's worked this season and how we've had a little amount of signings compared to a few other teams. But I think when we've made these signings, I think they've been pretty good for our team, and they've been to what we've needed. And yeah, I think he's a class manager. To be honest, I think he manages his players well. I think he's got a good kind of positive attitude to when he loses games, when he wins them. And I think that's probably important when a manager, because if you're Admiral in defeat, I think that's an important thing, because you can go into the next match and you can strive on to the next performance.
Okay, Tom, that sounds like a really good team there. I like the balance there. Like, obviously, Hazard, I reckon he's been brilliant as well. There's been a lot of good players there. But I want to ask you this question. If you could add any player on current form in the world to this team, who would you add?
Yeah, that that is a good question. Yeah, I think I'd have to say Alexandre Lacazette from Lyon. I think he's been a really good player this season. He's got a lot of goals for Lyon, and I think he's got nearly about as much in the European standings as most players. Yeah, and I think he adds another kind of different place to our team. He can play in various positions. He can play a little bit in sort of behind the striker role, on the wings, up front, and I think that's what we kind of need, a bit more depth. Despite us having that already, it's always good to have that in a team, because obviously when injuries come, it's that kind of time where you're just, panicking about where players are going to go, who's going to play. But yeah, I think he could be a perfect fit.
Okay, so that has been Tom's English Premier League team of the season, and it has some very good players in it. If you think it's a very strong team, please give it a like. Also comment on what players you think he should have included. In the next episode, Jerome Miles will be showing his Premier League team of the season, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. And a special thanks to Tom for being included in this episode of Quabbin SC. Did you enjoy it, Tom?
Yeah, thanks, Kelvin. Alright then, bye guys.